I woke up to find out I had systemic lupus, which
Mm.
also ended up giving me a blood clotting disorder.
Oh,
And have been just living with the effects of that for almost 17 years now, which is insane to say. But during that 25-day stay, I did flatline 3 times
oh
and
my goodness.
yeah. And just had a major recovery, reverted back to a childlike state. All the family had to step in to do everything from help me brush my teeth, to help me get dressed, teach me everything, to talk and walk me when I reverted back to a childlike state.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Heal with Beth Jones. That's me, your host. My mission is to bring the power of healing to trauma and abuse survivors. That's why every guest on this show will bring you an amazing story of healing in action. So come on, everyone, let's heal. Welcome to Let's Heal. I'm Beth, your healing mentor. We often think that to protect our children, we must hide them from our pain, our illnesses, and our struggles. We assume that silence is safety. But what if the secret to raising resilient and empowered leaders isn't shielding them from the fire, but teaching them how to walk through it with us? Today, I'm joined by a dynamic mother-daughter duo who are the living proof of this power. Evelina Solis and her daughter, Hope Castellon. Evelina defied doctors who said she'd never have children, but the journey wasn't without its scars. We discussed the reality of secondary PTSD in children and how honest communication can heal those invisible wounds. If you've ever felt guilty about how your struggles affect your loved ones, this episode is going to offer you grace and a new roadmap for healing together. Get ready to witness the miracle of hope. Evelina and Hope, welcome to today's episode of Let's Heal. How are you today?
Great. Thank you,
Doing
Beth.
awesome.
I'm so excited to have you both.
We're so honored to be on your podcast today.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun conversation, I'm sure. Now, Evelina, I've known you for a little bit. We've had some opportunity to spend a little bit of time together, but I've only just met Hope today. Evelina, do you want to start by telling the audience whatever it is that you would like for them to know about you, and then we'll pass it over to Hope to do the same thing.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a mamapreneur, so this is my pride and joy, and one of the reasons it's given me, true reason for living is hope. And
Mm.
so I am also an international best-selling author. I'm a certified coach, transformational empowerment coach. I do a lot of different jobs. I wear different hats, but I'm also this
Mhm.
founder of Soul to Soul and Shine Your Light Christian Youth
Mm.
Leadership Camp and character development programs. So that's kind of a mouthful, but pretty much I wear whatever hat we need to in whatever season that we're in. And it is really truly an honor to be able to serve and empower the next generation.
Every time I talk to you, I wonder how it is that you do everything you do and still look radiant every day. You do. I don't know how you sleep, but you look beautiful every day, so you must be sleeping at some times. All right, Hope, what would you like the audience to know about you?
I volunteered to the Shiny Light camps, and I help with what's it called? Like some of the what's the programs that you do.
Yeah.
I
You,
co-host on the podcast that she did.
Mhm.
you play
Yeah,
sports.
sports
She loves acting and singing,
and
and
dancing.
you serve on the praise and worship team at our
Mm-hmm.
church.
Volunteer at our kids' church,
Yeah.
with the kids.
She was a summer intern at church this year.
Yeah, she knows more
Oh,
than I volunteered at the as an intern for
Mm.
a church this year, and I just like empowering people, the podcast and this to be able to.
I would call Hope a servant leader for sure. She's not a person that is in the spotlight necessarily, but anything
Mhm.
you need from her, she's willing to help and be a really good friend to people.
Yeah, you're very busy too. I'm guessing in and amongst all that, there's a little time for school?
Yes, very little. Try to get it done.
Very little, yeah. Well, that's all right. You're being a very well-rounded individual, which is wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. So we are going to spend some time talking about the healing journey, and Evelina will talk about your healing journey and
part of that is hope coming into your life as you are going through your life. And so I would like for you to share that with us and then give Hope some time to talk about anything that she wants to say about healing herself that she might have experienced even at her young age at this point in time. But let's set the stage a little bit. So none of us we need to take a healing journey unless there's been something that we've been through, and we all have been. So I would like for you to please share with us whatever it is that you would like to say about that.
Yeah, so back in 2006, I was what I thought at the peak of my health, and I was
Mhm,
living in Miami, Florida, working for the University of Miami in Coral Gables. And at night, I was a freelance reporter because I had worked in entertainment news previously. I left school and went to college. I went to college and then left to New York City to work as a broadcast journalist in entertainment news. And
mm,
so my job right out of school was working for West Florida in radio and CBS television,
mhm,
working red carpets at movie premieres and CD release parties because back then it's fees.
yeah,
But then eventually I ended up in Miami and I was working at the University of Miami in the student affairs division and multicultural student affairs
mhm,
assistant director there. I was actually very young because I had graduated college early.
yeah,
And as I was there, like helping students, I ended up finishing presentation where we are giving out awards. And I went upstairs because our office was like on the second floor. And I realized I was struggling breathing, which was really crazy because I was training for a half marathon at the time and was very active. I was in my early 20s. And
mhm,
I knew something was wrong. Doctors misdiagnosed. I went emergency, like to the urgent care quickly, and they had sent me home and said nothing was wrong. Long story short, ended up having a pulmonary embolism that almost took my life. And when I woke up, my brother had just visited me from Ohio, and I was living in Miami, Florida, as I had said, working at the University of Miami. And he was back by my bedside, so I knew something was wrong because I remember him leaving to go back to Ohio. And then my parents frantically left Texas. They were living in Texas and had to make it to Florida, and I ended up having a longer recovery because a lot of people die within the first, 30 to 60 minutes of having pulmonary embolism.
mhm,
It was just really a miracle to be able to leave the hospital. And at that time, I was in
yeah,
a wheelchair hooked up to an oxygen tank. At
mm,
that time, my doctors told me that I would need to move closer to family to have stability. And if anything with my health will happen again, just to have that support system, and it would just be best to move close to family. So I ended up doing that. When I came to Texas, I was like on this recovery journey for some time. It really took me a while to get up to just be able to do normal things again. Thank you to the help of my parents who really moved a lot of their life trying to help me recover in Florida and then bringing me to Texas. So we
mhm,
finally got here. I ended up working at the University of Texas, Austin, and while I was there, I did well for about 3 years. But what the doctors didn't realize that I had in 2006, they ended up diagnosing me after a 25-day hospital stay. It's in a hospital in Austin, and I woke up to find out I had systemic lupus, which
mm,
also ended up giving me a blood clotting disorder.
oh,
And have been just living with the effects of that for almost 17 years now, which is incredible to say. But during that 25-day stay, I did flatline 3 times,
oh
and
my goodness,
yeah, and just had a major recovery, reverted back to a childlike state. All the family had to step in to do everything from help me brush my teeth, to help me get dressed, to teach me everything, to talk and walk me when I reverted back to a childlike state. Like I was saying, went through physical, occupational, and speech therapy for months, was able to graduate early, and at that time, the therapist had given me a challenge to be able to give a presentation to them when I graduated. And it was also a goal of mine because as I was growing up, I always wanted to be the Latina Oprah. I wanted to always have my own show. That's why I had to pursue broadcast journalism.
uh-huh,
And and it was just really neat because, there was a moment in time where I just asked God, I had a heart to heart with Jesus and just said, if you want me to live out the purpose and the will that you have for my life, that I feel that you put on my heart, you're literally going to have to create a miracle just like you did with Lazarus and raise me out of this deathbed and allow me to talk and walk again. I couldn't articulate those words because it had the systemic lupus had actually attacked my brain. So it was lupus cerebritis at the time. I mean, it was in my whole system, but it did attack my brain there in the hospital. And so it was just, but this feeling, overwhelming feeling of just like, Holy Spirit, please, like, please hear my cry and Lord, please help me, to be able to get out of here so that I can tell my story and hopefully to make an inspirational impact to others to be able to inspire them during their hardest times and to help them to heal.
Hmm. That's a
And
lot.
so that kind of was a recovery for almost a year of recovery into 2010. And then was just told by doctors that I could never have children for my parents to just really accept me doing something very easy with my life and be a family of faith. So we leaned on our faith and not fear at the time.
Yeah.
And just really, it just took our whole community. So grateful for the family that God has given me because they really, and my church family as well and friends, they really prayed me through that situation. And I'm here today able to tell you all that I'm out speaking and teaching and coaching and doing all these things,
Yeah.
all because God keeps his promises. And
Mm.
I'm very grateful. But that's what hope comes in to this story is that they told me I would never be able to create a child for children. And if I did, there'd be a lot of difficulties and that I either would lose my life or my child would lose her life.
Yeah, and look at you both here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, which is why your name is Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. All right. So you're still managing. Lupus is with you forever.
Yes, unfortunately, I try not to claim that over my life. I'm just like, I'm gonna be
I hear
magically
you.
healed, and a lot of people don't know I live with lupus, and I think that is one of the greatest just compliments, really,
Yeah.
because if I'm not wearing it as a badge,
No.
like, "Hey, I have lupus." No, I just am a person that wants to help other people get through hard times in life and be able to, like I said, inspire and uplift and empower. And
Yeah.
I, in that journey, will let them know I
Yeah.
am living with a chronic illness that has no cure right now. But I am hopeful that one day there will be a cure and that we will, all not have to deal with the sadness that comes with chronic illness and disease. So I feel like I can really, really empathize with people that live with
Mhm.
kind of illness, just from both perspectives of being a caretaker and seeing my family have to care for me, and then also just every single day pushing through. And I always say I may have lupus, but lupus doesn't have me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. To meet you and to see you, it's nowhere, right? Because until I'd actually spent some time talking to you a little bit more deeply, I never would have known. Because that badge that you wear every single day is hope and inspiration and empowerment. That's what you're all about. And it's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's great. All right, Hope. What would you like to say, if anything? You don't
Uh,
have to share. It's up to you.
you just overcome a lot in your life already, just through health and all the things, being able to do all the things that you do. Not having my mom was well, I was pretty sick. I think to tell you that I'm 7 years old. Yeah, so when I was little, since like when I was little to 7, this shit I remember when I was little, I was like, because sometimes I would like wake up and she wouldn't be there. I'd be like, "Where's mama? Where's mama?"
Mm,
And then always be like not always, but they'd be like, "Oh, she got to go to the hospital. She got to take him to the hospital." I remember saying, "Hey, takes with the preliminary and the baptize after the and stuff." Yeah, and I had just clotting, a blood clotting issue, like DVTs. I remember seeing her like that and having to go tell her when I got to tell her she was like
mm,
that, and then I would wake up a lot. She was in the hospital and stuff, and I'd say that's like a really big trauma because I guess that like gave me like I kind of have like separation, not separation anxiety because that sounds like, but I guess it kind of gave me anxiety now because sometimes I just wake up in my
mm.
bed, I just because I like get nightmares about that a lot because that makes me like, I guess I just like kind of worried me to that like bad anxiety too. So, um, I would say that took like a big toll on me. It took like a big toll on people.
Sure. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand that. Yeah.
it's hard, especially at that age, to wake up and your mom's like not be there, and then I'd have to go to school and stuff and be like, "Oh, yeah, my mom's, like, in the hospital." And then
Mhm.
it's like I was playing softball at the time too. She was one of the coaches that would help. And there's times where she would be able to make the repeated games and stuff.
Yeah.
What was a certain period of time that she's in the hospital, so really on time. And she really said there's a possibility. I think that shouldn't have not made it a lot more states.
Mm.
I'm still kind of like feeling from that, I guess you could say. Like I'm
Sure.
still uh I the way I hear it, if that's the executive I vibe with, like really big form of healing. And yeah, I love listening to music. Music is like a comfort space listening. So yeah, that's a little bit of like the stuff I went through, but that's it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just
are you
recently I had a hospitalization and I think that brought back all the memories and that's why it's so just fresh to her. I
yeah,
ended up
triggering. Yeah, I
getting
mean, it's a
yeah.
great example of something that triggers us. Yeah.
I ended up having a blood clot, which was a DET, and I hadn't had one in 6 years, 6 or 7
Yeah.
years, and it
Mm.
just brought it back to that place. So there's still a lot of healing, that we're walking through, and you get that secondary post-traumatic stress,
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
just having to live through that. And I think this is a great podcast for other kids that are living with moms that may be chronically ill and have the same kind of situation.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about that for a little bit? We might come back to your healing journeys, but let's talk about the podcast. And we're going to come around to everything you've been doing because I know you have the books there as well. So we'll talk about those. But the podcast is new. Yeah. It's called
We
the Hope and Ev Show.
start.
Yeah.
We started in October. This is
Yeah.
something we've been talking about for a while. I feel like it's been in the background in some way because I do come from a broadcast journalism background and we're always teaching our students life skills. We work a lot with middle school and high school. We pretty much worked with every age group that Hope has been a part of because I've always been a parent that had the
Yeah.
flexible schedule as an entrepreneur
Mhm.
wherever they needed me, whether it was the room mom, coach, like I was there to be able to do that. And I was super grateful. And I think another thing that made us step into that next level of elevation is I had to go unfortunately through a divorce and it was just the two of us for the last like
Mhm.
5 years. We've been
Mhm.
just trying to make things work and refining out like the things that you do and all of that. But in the process, we were helping these students, and I realized that some of the things that we're dealing with at our age was because we weren't given the tools at a younger age.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, through our Shine Your Light camp, this idea of having the Hope and F podcast came about because we wanted to give youth a platform to be able to just help us understand how they were living life differently or set apart. I mean, all of them deal with the same kind of issues, right? Mental health,
Mhm.
cyberbullying. Middle school is like a really hard time to make friends and to keep friends. And it is a time where people have family issues, they have a lot of trust issues. So there's just a lot of different topics that, self-esteem, self-worth, we could keep going on, identity. And
Yeah.
we really wanted kids to have those tools and then to have these professionals that pour into youth to be able to give them the advice that they needed. So when you think about yourself, just being the mentor that you would need in your life, we
Yeah.
want to provide that for these students and for
No, it's
them to have
amazing.
a voice. And so
Yes.
that's kind of how the Hope and F podcast came about. Hope, obviously, she had to be at a place where she was wanting to do that, and she was very introverted. She still is an introvert, but in the last couple of years, she's seen how our camp has helped students, and so how now that can help them through this podcast and reach a larger audience.
Yeah. Just an amazing mission, particularly giving younger people the tools to be able to process through things that they experience much quicker in a much healthier way. I had when I was a kid, I had two they call big T trauma events, one when I was 5 and another one when I was 15. And the one when I was 15 had an event that happened, but then there was an extended period of bullying after that. And I think about that now. I mean, it put me into, I went through after the event at 15, I went another 35 years just burying my pain and my suffering inside of me with more trauma, the life that I was living, the people that were in my life, I had more trauma that was piled on top of that. But that's a long time, like 45 and 35 years to carry all of that. And I and I don't say this because I want my life to be different or wish my life had been different. It is what it is. And I'm super happy where I am today. I'm very grateful for everything that I do. But had I had those tools that I have now and the things that you all talk about when I was younger, I think my life probably would have been quite different because I would have been healthy for a lot longer period of time than I have been. I mean, emotionally healthy. So it's a great mission that you have.
Yes, you too can heal, and I'm here to show you how. Download my free healing quick start guide at empoweredsurvivors.com/heal. And congratulations on taking your first step toward transforming your deepest wounds into your greatest strengths.
Yeah, we have our co-hosts a lot on the show are student entrepreneurs in
Hmm.
high school, they're creatives, they're kids that just feel that they have a lot to contribute to the world. And so it's really neat to just
Amazing.
see their transformation from the first year we have in that camp to like now and then being on the podcast. And
Yeah.
I feel that growing up, you're hushed a lot. Like, don't speak
Yeah.
up,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
talk, and you're taught to play small. And I just
Children are to be seen and not heard. That's what I always heard.
yeah.
That was the phrase.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Hope says that we are on a mission to help these kids feel loved, be seen, to be heard.
Yeah,
Like,
to have a voice. I think, there's one of the things that I think we miss in society, maybe we're getting better this as a society overall, is that even when people are, really young, 4 or 5, still very, I mean, even younger, 2, 3, very, very impressionable, right? I mean, they say the younger that we are, that we experience a big T trauma, the harder the effect can be on our life, right? Because we're forming our view of the world from a very, very early age. And if we could all accept that and see even a young person, much younger than you, but see you as you're already becoming the human being that you're going to be. And we need to be pouring into that with support and love and tools to help people become who they actually are meant to be instead of stifling them, right? I don't know. The world would be a very different place, I think.
I think the next generation, if people are not paying attention or pouring into, that is where it's at. These are our future leaders. These are the ones that are going to be our
100%.
entrepreneurs,
100%.
our CEOs, leading the
Hmm.
world with
Yeah.
politics and faith and life. And so when people are
She
saying,
hope might be our next president at some point in time in the future.
she definitely wants to go into acting.
Madam Castellano, Madam President.
She definitely is interested in acting, so maybe someday,
Uh,
just seeing big screen someday, and then she
there we
has
go.
that platform to be able to speak and help empower others and inspire them, and so you can use that for good for sure,
Mm-hmm.
being ready now, so when you're put in that place and God has,
Hmm.
you can, be his, messenger.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the truth for all of us, right? Is walking with God and what God wants us to do. And there's a process of figuring it out, right? Which, you touched on that a little bit already, Evelina, right? Of having to say to God, you got to raise me up out of this bed to do what I want to do and what I think I'm supposed to be doing, which happened, right? Brought you out of that place to do all the great work you're doing now. But
I feel like God gave me that dream really young, like, I don't feel something that you wake up excited to do, and never in a million years did I think I would be at a Grammy Award show interviewing the people I watch on TV. People would make fun of me, saying, "You're from a small town, 2 hours south of Chicago, this little town called Ipston, Illinois, with about 6,400 people and a lot of corn and cows." They're just like, "Okay, that's really funny." I just want these kids to know that these dreams are possible, that with
mm,
God at the center of what you're doing, if He is reminding you and showing you every single day and it's something you cannot stop thinking about, He's put that in your heart for a reason
yeah,
because He wants you to do something with it and not to get lost. You really need to know who you are in the position that you put in as a leader or as a movie star or as an athlete. You
yeah,
really need to know who you are, identity, so that when you are asked these questions,
yeah, yeah. So, Hope, how are you enjoying the show? Is it fun for you?
Yes, it's been so fun. Like, it's been really
Mm,
fun, especially since we've gotten to have some of my friends on,
yeah.
what's it called? Interview,
co-host,
yeah,
yeah.
co-host interview them. I feel like it's just a really fun experience knowing that we're inspiring other people out in the world and knowing that we're letting other people know that they have a voice and that they're heard and that they're loved and that they're seen. And I think it's just it's extra fun to be doing this with my mom too, because I
Sure.
like hanging out with her. So, yeah, I think it's really cool and it's really, like, inspiring what we're doing.
I feel when she was growing up, you kinda had to choose, and there was a lot of times I'd do these speaking engagements, and I kinda spoke all over, and she didn't have a choice, like, she had to come with me, and she might not have always wanted to be there and didn't understand why, why are we putting in this work and why are we doing this? And now I
Mm,
can say, "This is why," and I feel that she can go sing in front at church during our youth group, be on praise and worship team or compete in something called National Fine Arts
mhm,
because of those and, she was so shy as a kid, like, "No, no," and I'd just be like, "Introduce me," or just, like, little things, but being able to do life and your partner be your child, it's really cool because you don't have to choose, like, "Well, I'm gonna go do this, and you need to stay, and I need to find somebody to watch you," and obviously, when she was younger, there was sometimes I did have to do that, but
mhm.
it's neat at this age, now that she's a teenager,
Yeah.
that she understands the value of what we're doing and the call that God has on our lives, and that we are here for a much bigger purpose
Yeah.
is really, to make his name, Jesus' name known and, to save these lives and just so that these students can have eternal life and that in this journey we can be
Mhm.
a source to them. And so I just feel like you kind of understand that why,
Yeah,
right?
dude, she would like when I was at her speaking engagement, she would be like, "Come on, you need to pass out the flyers," or like stuff. And I did not want to go pass out the flyers to like all those college students. I was like, no. Or she would bring me on stage too. I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this. It definitely paid
Mhm.
off. Like I definitely feel like I've gained more confidence, a little more. I'm still kind of shocked, but yeah, that really paid off.
And I
Yeah.
came to her when we started the podcast. I was like, it's always about timing and what we have
Mm,
on our plate. We had a
mhm,
we 2025 wasn't great for a lot of people, but I feel for us with Shine Your Light and the podcast, we really went above and beyond. God really just kept opening doors for us with that man would close and just these opportunities, like being able to be on your podcast. We were on a few
mhm,
in 2025 and
mhm.
getting the word out about like what we're doing. I
Yeah.
think just have a unique spin to the Hope and Ev podcast. It's faith, family, fun, and the next generation.
Mhm.
And there wasn't anything really in our area doing that kind of thing. And so I just feel that God's hands obviously been on us through our journey, through our health,
Yeah.
through keeping us here. So it's been such a blessing.
Yeah. It is a blessing. 2025 was a great year for me as well. In fact, I think it might be my best year yet.
Wow, that's
2024
so
was
good.
pretty 2025 was even better. 2026 this year is gonna be
Even
even
better.
better. Yeah, so actually, this episode, the show will be on the TV platform, so your episode will air out on the TV
I mean, we
platform.
saw.
Exciting, right? There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a very exciting development for me,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you, that's amazing, and then I'm getting married a couple of weeks after that, so
Yes.
February is a big month. So yeah,
Yes.
2026 is a good year. Gonna be
Yeah,
a very
it's
good
such
year,
a
I
good
can feel
year.
it
I'm getting
already, yeah,
excited.
yeah.
We're
Let's talk
cheering you
about some of yeah, thank you, I appreciate that very much. So it's been a hard-fought journey to get here on, my journey through love has had a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs, so I'm happy to be where I am now.
You look
Yeah,
so
I'm
happy.
very
That's great.
thank you. I am. It is a very good man, and I genuinely believe that he is God's gift to me as kind of my reward, saying, "You've done well getting through this and learning the lessons that you needed to learn. So here's this man for you."
Well done, good and faithful servant.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the other ministry work that you all are doing that sort of predated the podcast.
Yeah, so the Shine Your Light, we're talking about that is our camp.
Hmm.
We're having our 4th annual camp in June, and we're always looking for people to
Fourth
partner with
already.
us. Yes, it's
Wow.
gonna be our 4th annual camp, and
Yeah,
we have multiplied. We started with about 20 kids. We're at 50 students, a little over 50 this
that's
past summer,
fantastic.
and we wanna make sure it's quantity over quality or
Mhm.
quality over quantity, sorry. Got that different, yeah, I got it all messed up. I knew what
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head. See, this is what happens after having brain trauma and lupus. It's gonna happen sometimes, but
It happens
what
to
I
all of
mean
us,
is we
Evelina.
want good quality, good quality. We want so to me, it isn't it has to be huge, but I have seen
Yeah.
God show me in visions that we're gonna be filling the gym here in the next few years, like, whether we have to make multiple camps.
Mhm.
I've seen the vision of having our camp in different cities, like, just packaging what we're doing at Shine Your Light and launching them in different areas so other people can run them.
Mhm.
We focus on leadership and service and creative arts and life skills and, public speaking and just budgeting, financial literacy for students, just
Mhm.
all the things that schools are not doing a good job of teaching students before they leave. We're trying to give them those skills. And this past year we did something new where our kids had went through
Mm.
3 years of our programming and they received and earned a leadership certification.
Oh,
So that was a lot of fun.
yeah, that is a lot of fun.
I have a big background when I worked in higher education after broadcasting, working in leadership and ethics.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
at University of Texas at Austin, I helped to run the Leadership and Ethics Institute, and so that's been just a huge passion of mine. So combining our work with ministry, with youth, leadership, the creative arts, like getting to do it all. At the end of camp, they get to showcase what they've learned throughout the week in front of their parent on a stage, and so that's a
How
lot of
cool
fun.
is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like, look, you
wonderful.
didn't just put your money toward anything. They
Yeah.
went from these shy kids that walked in to now they're up there working in groups doing, whether they're acting out a Bible story or doing a short sermon, singing a song. I don't know. We've
Yeah.
had comedy acts, we've had dancing acts, whatever is whatever God is given them as a gift or talent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a lot of fun. And we do character development programs throughout the year. We do these like worship nights and open gyms. We just depending on what we have going on, we want to do like retreats eventually to bring families closer together, whether it's like mother
Mhm.
daughter retreats or father son or families together. We think that that would be amazing. Like
Oh, yeah.
we want to have a youth conference. So those are just some of the big goals, but we need lots of
You're gonna have to duplicate yourselves.
yes, yes, and we need lots of, sponsorship and help.
Yeah.
The community, if anyone feels called to empower the next generation and partner with us, we, call them to do this is the year to help because we are growing and the need is there more than ever after COVID. Kids need this.
Yeah. Yeah, now you are in the New Braunfels, Texas area,
Yes.
and, we will be able to provide an on-screen link to however they can reach you when this airs, so we will do that, but hopefully there'll be people from all over the country that will hear this, will be inspired to help you out because it's great work that you're doing.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
So Hope, tell me what you're doing, what your role is in some of this ministry work now.
So right now, I usually like I'll help plan the events. Like let's say we're doing
Mm.
here.
She's on the praise and worship team for Shining
Oh
Light
yeah,
as
I'm for
well
sure.
and on all
Mhm.
the other
Like like
events.
I help with volunteer time, but I'm also like the student there. Like if
She's
they
my
need,
right hand.
yeah, if they need help with setting up and stuff, I'll do it. And then
I need her to make copies or make
oh yeah,
edits for our
oh
videos.
yeah,
Sometimes we need promotional.
I help edit the like videos that are on my.
She's really good at editing, like, when it comes to these students, I'm telling you, it's incredible working with a leadership advisory board that has all these multiple, like, photography. She's taking great at taking
Oh,
photos.
that's
I'm
wonderful.
telling you, like, I would have
Yeah,
had someone come alongside me and be like, "If you use all these skills, you literally can just run your own business at 18." But they will every student that I think comes through our program, I mean, not everybody's called to be an entrepreneur, but I feel like we've given them so many skills that they've been able to like build upon or
yeah.
try something new that they'll figure
Mhm.
out if they like it or not, that they have more of an idea if they're gonna go to college or if they're gonna go to the military or if they're gonna do a trade. I feel like they're figuring all that out right now.
Like,
So
I just
wonderful.
hope
Around
yeah,
girl.
so if she needs me anywhere, I'll be there. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I get older, I think I'll do some, like, the bigger parts out here,
Mm.
but
I
I'll
make her
tell you,
some
I could use a Hope because I'm Beth and Beth's all-around girl right now. I'm both.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
It's hard, as a teenager, they have their lives and they're very busy just like we are.
Yeah.
Try to carve out that time to help to do these things and saying, "Hey, I need you to staple these
Mhm.
packets, fill these flyers, or fill these folders for camp, and every bag needs to." It's the little tedious details, but she'll understand as she gets older that everything that you create or do, like you're going to be the best one at doing it well. You can hand a lot of things off, but they might not see your vision completely. It's going to
Mhm.
us, like, make sure that it's implemented well, especially because it's in our first 4 years.
Yeah.
Just like making sure that it's great quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and also sports takes up a lot of my time, so, like, I'll come home from a practice and I hope I need help with this. I'll be like,
Oh my
I'm in
god.
pain." I was like, and I'll be like, "Okay."
I'll be like, as you're sitting there, you can do this.
Recovering.
Yeah, I'm grateful, and I feel she can use her talented gifts, like, not just obviously with our church, but, through our program, and so that's been really cool to just see her get better and better and better every year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. So I wanted to ask you, Evelina, when you mentioned just a little bit ago about the big vision that you've seen that God's given to you, do those visions scare you?
Yes,
They
yes.
scare me too.
A lot of these students are
Yeah.
like, "But if we get bigger, it's not gonna feel the same." And I was like, "God's gonna give us volunteers, and He's gonna give us the facility, and He's gonna give us, like, if we need to double ourselves, like, He's gonna need to create more space in our calendar because our summers are times that we finally go and take, like, a little trip or something, and then
Our summers are usually
very full, very full." It is. So, you have this camp in between, and then she goes to other camps, and then
Uh-huh.
that she's a part of something called National Fine Arts that is kind of in Texas, people know it as UIL.
Uh-huh.
It's of this creative arts kind of, musical and thing that
think
people compete in. Ours is through church, and so they compete in Houston on a district level, and then if they get superior with invitation to nationals is in end of July, early August every year. So we have to fundraise. We take several students from our church to National Fine Arts, but it's so fun. It's like traveling with best friends. But that's a huge part of our summer. And so it's just like, all right, Lord, you've given us these visions, but give us the people too.
Yeah. And that's what I have to rely on because I've had a similar vision a couple of months ago where I have finally seen where I'm headed with the work that I'm doing. And that's, I'm on a mission to get my message out to million. I used to say million. Now I'm saying millions. I don't know how many millions, but I've had that vision. I've seen them. And that kind of takes your breath away for a minute because I'm like, I'm just one person. But as you say, if that's what God wants, all the resources are going to be there. Whatever I need to make that happen will be there. It will come to me. And I've watched that happen. It's a slow progress as we move forward and grow in what we're doing. But
Yeah, he's asking
God
us.
delivers every single time.
Yeah, he's asking us to be vessels to carry out his mission
Yeah.
and his plan. And he's just
Yeah.
like, take the first step of faith and I
Yes.
will provide the rest. But you're just like, oh,
Yes.
just even through my healing journey, as I was recuperating day by day, it was just like, can I just breathe? Can I just lift a finger? Can I just, wiggle a toe? Like it was just one
Mm.
thing. Sometimes isn't always on our time, but he always does have the perfect time. And you just have to really lean into that, lean into faith.
It's pretty much never on our time.
yeah.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Never. Right. We're always impatient, think we know more, can get there sooner. And it's
I
not the
feel like with the
case.
podcast, like he's showing us really big things too. I mean, we've only done a few episodes and we have things lined up for this year, but I just feel these kids have great dreams. Like I talked to these
Yeah.
students that have gone through our program almost 4 years now, and they tell us what they want to hear, what they need more of. And a lot of them love music and they love entertainment stuff. And so having people that maybe are mainstream, like artists who are Christian, how do they navigate that world and like help our students? And so I feel that we will probably get in front of some big time names pretty soon because
Yeah.
of having a background in broadcast journalism, knowing how the industry works, and just now these kids can be empowered by these big names in music or movies and things like that. And so it'll be really
I'm
fun to see.
excited to watch it happen for you because it's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, really fantastic. All right, there are a few books there in your hands as well. So let's talk about those.
You can hold a couple. I'll hold a couple. These all dropped. Well, I think there's one we don't have because it's still being mailed to me. But these three, that one was like 2 years ago, so you can get out now. These three dropped last year, and we actually dropped a fourth one in December. And in order, they were The Heart of a Mother. This is
Hmm.
a tribute. My grandmother had passed away a little over a year ago, and she was a huge part of my life. She was like a second mom. We grew up in a really big Mexican American family, and have lots and lots of
Yeah.
cousins. and tios and primos and my abuela, and just all my grandparents, right? And so I wanted to honor specifically my grandmother and my abuela, so my dad's mom and my mom's mom, and just let them know how they are a huge part of who I've become today. And I
Mhm.
also wanted to make sure that my mom knew how much she means to us. Like I wouldn't be the mom I am today without all of them.
It's beautiful.
And they have helped me with my journey in trying to parenthood, and they've been
Yeah, it's a
very
beautiful
active
tribute.
involved. And my grandma lived 91 full years, and she would have just had a ball knowing her name is published in my book, and it became her best-selling book, and so that was like a lot of fun. And then I
Yeah.
cut my dad out, so I did letters to him and all my grandparents, my grandfathers, and Willow. I just wanted to honor them. Just talks about them being the part of figures in my life. It's a fun book, but that.
Mhm.
And then this one is Hope's story, a radical testimony of me telling her how you're still here, even though I almost lost my life giving birth to her, which was very traumatic as well.
Yeah.
But God, obviously, even without she came early.
This one's a big one.
Yeah, this is
It
really
is big.
old.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is called Born to Shine. The miraculous story of Hope and Grace is our chapter in this book. But
Uh-huh.
the book itself is called Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, The Rise of the Phoenix. So both of us have rising from the ashes stories.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, you do.
that's the only went to Vegas for.
Yes, we did a red carpet earlier last year in Vegas. So walk the red carpet with me.
Okay.
And
You went too? Was
Yeah.
that fun?
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Plus, we got to visit some cool places in Vegas.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And Unleash Her Story is the one that came out in December, but I don't have that actually physically.
Mhm.
It should be here any day now. But this one is the first one that not like really just kicked it all off, called Shine Your Light. It's through Light Beamers with our coach and
Our
mentor
dear friend.
and
Yes.
April Tui. Thank you, April, for launching that journey for me. And
Yes.
we were all kind of a part of this trilogy
I don't
series.
have Step Into Your Brave handy. Should have had it. I don't have it, but
No,
yeah.
I was gonna pull out that one, but that started everything for me a couple years ago, and actually, there's a fun story behind this really quickly.
Mm.
Hope's class, they did a collaborative book, and she was in 5th grade, so she was a published author at 10, and
I was
that
about to ask you if you were gonna do some writing, but there's the answer to that question. That's amazing. Good for you.
so her class did this cute little book, and we had a book signing. April was there, and a lot of my friends and just people who have inspired me came to that event at her
Mhm.
school. So that was a lot of fun. And then Hope can kind of take it from here. Kind of what you said to me. What happened?
Before I say what I said to you, it was like not that. It was a book about the Grinch, and then we just like illustrated our own. It was
It's
it
okay.
was so
It's a
It was
bad.
start.
the book writing process. They
It's a
did it,
start.
and it
Absolutely.
was published. So
Yes.
The people who were signing the books were her parents. We were just signing the books for her parents, and they made
That's
us like so
okay.
special about it.
we did a
Hey,
whole
you
book
just
signing for them at the school. She's
just
like,
getting
"Oh,"
started.
and I'm like, "Hey, they had to physically write and rewrite. I don't know how many drafts they did.
We did a
Had to
lot.
make, and all of them. The way it was set up is each kid told a part of the story. So it was like,
Uh-huh.
here's the end. How do you get from the beginning to the end? It was, I mean, at 10 years old,
Yeah,
5th grade, like,
and
how do you know how to do
we
that?
had to like draw our
Great experience.
kids.
They had to draw their own pictures
Whenever
for
she
their
told,
story.
we had a lot of good like people who could draw in our class. Like they could draw like
Mhm.
good. And
Yeah.
whenever like they told me that like everyone needed to draw like something, I was like, I suck at drawing, so I was like, turned out bad. But then it turned out good. It was like
Good.
a cute little story. But
Yeah, but it's a great experience
Yeah,
too,
it
though,
is.
right? And your mom's right because you learned a lot.
Now you know, like, if you want to do something more, you know the process.
Yeah,
It was a lot.
exactly.
There's kids underneath their desks, like, almost in tears because it really is so intense, and they did it in such a short period of time, and it was
Yeah.
supposed to be a Christmas book that was supposed to come out, and they were turning in their last draft, like, 2 weeks before, so then they didn't get the book
we
until
thought we weren't gonna
January.
everyone was stressing out, but it's our little like 6th grade, 5th grade
5th grade
selves,
class.
5th grade selves were stressing out about the book being turned in time and stuff. But
They got to see what it's like. So then that year, Hope
yeah, when
saw an interview online.
I saw a couple of her interviews online, and I just decided to watch them because I wanted to look
She
up her
randomly
name.
Googles my name, I guess.
Yeah, I googled and then everything like literally photos of her popped up. I was like, oh, but I watched some interviews, And I saw in one of them that she said one of her goals was to write a book. Like, she wanted
Mm.
to write a book. At the time, she hadn't really done anything. She had talked
Oh,
about it, but she just hadn't done it. And I told her, like, for a while, I was like, "Mom, you should write a book." And I said, "Mom, I wrote I said, we wrote our book, our 5th grade class wrote our book. So I said, it's your wait, it's your time to
Yeah.
write
Yeah,
yours." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
I
time for you
was
to
like,
write your
"You
book.
it's time for you to write your book." And you have a crazy like, you have an awesome, like, story to put out there, so
mhm.
I was like, "It would be really cool for other people to read." I'm sure other people will definitely read it. And I was like, "So you need to write a book." It's like, whether it's like write something. I was like, cause that was one of her dreams. Like, I was like, "I already did mine." I said, "Now you could do yours." And she's like,
And it was at the perfect timing, and this is how you know God, because
Yeah.
I love this scripture about shining your light, and obviously you have a camp that's named that now, but
Mhm.
that 5:14 through 16 about, just being a city on a hill that cannot be hidden, and that all of our works, should be to honor and glorify God and like all the things that we do. And so we have these gifts and talents. And a lot of people, the richest place on earth is the grave because they take that with them and never live out what God has put in them. And so that just like really struck a chord with me. And April's like, hey, this is our last book of this trilogy. And um man, when you have your own friend, mentor, coach, and then your own daughter, and you have that moment where you're just like, okay, God, you're speaking to me through people too now. Like not just what I'm
Yes.
feeling, but this is like the moment, the time to do it. And I got in just in time to be able to do Shine a Light. And so we became published authors in the same year.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like that's
Yeah.
a story in itself. Like
Yeah.
daughter gets
Yeah.
published with her class, and
Yeah.
7 months, 8 months later, we're coming out with Shine a Light.
Yeah. You are right about God speaking to us through people. And April is one of the people on my path who's responsible for me being here recording with you all today, having my show. Because when I was in the early days of my healing journey, I knew that there was a story that I had, and I knew I would probably do something with the story, but that's all I knew. And I met with her one day, and we had known each other in college. I don't know if you remember that, but we had been
I do
sorority sisters in
remember.
college. And it kind of, stayed like Facebook connected as you do over the years, but had never really spent any time together after I had left college. I was a couple years ahead of her, and we really hadn't connected much. But I'd seen her popping up a lot in my Facebook feed on light beamers and April, and I was actually living in Hong Kong at the time. Right. So again, God using social media to put this woman back in front of me where I'm seeing her talking about what light beamers is doing all the time. So I sent her a message. I was like, I need to come see you because I think there's a story, but I need some help. And I spent a day with her, and I used a different phrase. Her phrase is pouring out my puzzle pieces of the story. And she's helped me to sort of put it all together. And it was that day that she said to me, you got to write a chapter and Step Into Your Brave, which is another book in that trilogy. And so I was in the middle book right before the one that you're in. So it was that exact same God using April again, which he does that a lot with April, but using her to bring out an important story. Same thing with you. And now look where that's leading. It's
And I
amazing.
tell her all the time, I said, Hope was one of the original little the Light Beamers Juniors, because during
Yeah.
COVID, she would randomly appear or help me do a Wednesday live just because it was fun. And obviously, we had a lot of time in our hands
That was
for
like
creating like mother daughter content and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so, again, this is another way of her to learn how to be visible and how to be a business person,
Hmm.
things like that. But I remember putting that idea in April's head. I was like, have you ever thought about doing a junior Light Beamers? And she's like, well, I don't think I'm called to that right now. But then it made me think, could I help? The trilogy is, right, to elevate your voice, step into your brave, and to shine your light. I was like, could I do those three things and help youth like do that? Because I became the Light Beamers community ambassador. And in Light Beamers, as you
Yeah.
know, when you share your story, you shine a light in the world. And I
Mm,
was like, these kids have stories already. They've
100%.
been
Are
through
you, are
a
you,
lot of stuff, like you said, at 6 for you, and,
yeah.
these kids sometimes
Yeah.
the day they're born, they've got this trauma and this
Yeah.
healing, and these things they're walking through. So I was like, "What can we do that?" And she's like, "I'm gonna leave that to you. Like,
So
you go
is this a
on, and
preview?
I'm
Is this a
blessing that."
preview of something that's coming? Another project? Is it coming?
What is that? No, I'm just saying that I help
Mm,
through what we're doing through Shine Your Light Camp and through
yeah.
the workshops and the camp and things like that. I'm not saying I'm helping kids actually write their book.
Why not?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like if they want to know, we will
Why
have
not
to show them the way.
do a
Well, I'm
junior
not
series?
taking on yet. Hey, that's
Yes.
a good idea. Good idea.
You've talked about doing something like that before, like
I
a
have
shop,
talked about
like a
getting
workshop
stories
where
from
you
them,
like a workshop where
helping them if they want to.
no, there's like a workshop you say you learn ever. It wasn't about writing. It was about like learning not journalism, but
Oh, I know.
that's not like the same
Yeah.
thing, but it's kind of not close to
Yeah,
it.
we wanted, and maybe this is something even right before the podcast took off, was to do a class to teach these students to be journalists, how to interview, how to ask good questions, how to hold a debate to defend your case. And, they're doing that through the podcast and everything. But I was like, but what if we use these resources because we're doing a lot of it already and put it into a class where if another student wanted to create a podcast or if they wanted to write their book or if they wanted to speak on stages, like why do they have to wait? Like we're always told you need more experience and you need to live more life and you need to be an expert in these fields. But some of these kids at the high school level have already walked through enough to be able to pour into a middle schooler's life or to pour into elementary kid because that's mentorship. And I
Yeah,
was just like,
absolutely.
why are we waiting? Why are we telling them, oh, you have to go live like more life? And some of these kids are like, I have a dad who's in prison. I have this.
Much to
I have
give.
this going on. I've had people around me who are drug addicted or people that have done these
So
things.
much to give. Yeah.
So yeah, they have so much great value. And I was just like, why not? So yeah, we talked about a journalism kind of class. And so I think that's what she was talking about.
I think it's important about that. It's a really good idea because it gives young people the empowerment over their story, right? And so it's the ability to come out from underneath the shame or the guilt of having a father who's in prison, for example, right? By just owning the story, sharing the story, and using it for purposes of helping other people, which is why I think we all have the experiences that we have so we can pay it forward and help other people. And that's healing for them to be able to go through that process and to pay it forward that way. And like I said, just take the stigma and the shame, just get rid of it.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
see,
a
the enemy,
situation
that's
for
what
their
he wants
life.
us to do is to stay in a closet, in a place to not
Yeah.
speak about it because he wants you to feel shame. He wants you
Yeah.
to feel you haven't been given a gift, and he wants you to feel that you're not worthy. But once you speak it and release it and it empowers other people, that's where the freedom comes because you're breaking all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the most important things we do on the healing journey is to speak our truth. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So thank you for letting us share about the books, but they're all really exciting. And Unleash Your Story was the last one that I said came out in December. That's really just letting women know that they should all tell their story and exactly what Life Demons is about. There is someone that you're going to share your story with that will be their survival guide. And if you don't share their story, there's going to be people living in this world thinking that they're doing life alone. And we don't want that. We want to go, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want to heal. Yes, yes. All right. Well, we are going to make sure that all of this, all the ways to reach you and engage with you, get connected into this episode on the various platforms that it will be on, show notes, and there'll be QR codes and all kind of stuff. So we'll make sure it's promoted and people can get back to you however they want to engage with you. And I hope you will. You guys have been absolutely delightful. Hope it's been fun having you on here. I've really enjoyed it. Yes, you did great. Yeah, and you're an absolute delight. I'm very honored to have finally met you.
Thank you, Beth, for giving us this platform and opportunity to just be able to share our hearts.
It's my pleasure.
Generation.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the work that you're doing is just I've got chills all over my body. It just makes me very happy and feel very cozy and warm inside when I think about all the wonderful
Whenever you
wonderful
visit
things
New
you're
Braunfels,
doing.
Texas, if you all want to come through and see what we're doing.
Yeah, I will. I will. Thank you so much again for being here today. All right, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this fun episode of Let's Heal. And as I always say to you, keep healing. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Let's Heal with Beth Jones. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Beth Jones Healing Mentor. And if you'd like to know more about me and my work to help other survivors to heal, please visit me on the web at empoweredsurvivors.com.